So I opened my social media today to find out that Don't Stream on Max was trending worldwide. Now, with Max being the streaming platform most closely associated with Warner Brothers Discovery, I was not surprised. Because Warner Brothers alone has given people a multitude of reasons to not want to support them in recent years. But the reason that people are calling for a boycott this time around is not what you think. Let's discuss.
I watch so you don't have to.
All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
Between DC, the animation group, together with the entire Warner library, our ambition is to bring Warner back and to produce great high-quality films.
So unless you've been living under a rock the past couple of years, you would probably know that Warner Brothers Discovery has experienced a lot of bad publicity recently as it pertains to them canceling completed projects. The most obvious example of that being the Batgirl movie, which was supposedly viewed as being unreleasable by the studio.
That is one big pile of shit.
And they quickly came to the realization that they could make more money canceling the project and using it as a tax write-off than they would releasing it. Now, I'll be the first person to tell you that I had little to no interest in the proposed Batgirl movie anyway. But I do understand people's complaints when they say that this is morally wrong, because it is quite literally taking away the creative freedoms of artists. It is yet another example of Warner Brothers meddling in the creative process and choosing money over artistic integrity. Now, I know what some of you may be thinking. Hollywood has always been about making money, and that's true. But I would counter that argument and say, turning a profit and artistic integrity doesn't necessarily have to be mutually exclusive. In fact, WB has many examples in-house of what happens when they allow writers and directors to execute a clear vision to the best of their ability.
Because it's all part of the plan.
Many of their biggest success stories have spawned from that strategy. WB's issue has been and always will be they listen to the wrong people and then make decisions based on that bad advice. It's when WB made meddling in the creative process their main line of business, that's when they started to experience financial setbacks that they are now desperately trying to recover from by taking shortcuts. They were not as financially unstable when they were working with the likes of Christopher Nolan, Todd Phillips, or yes, even Zack Snyder. But now that most of those directors have moved on to other projects with other studios, and Todd Phillips is probably going to follow close behind after Joker 2's release, now WB is scrambling for answers and trying to make up for their losses elsewhere.
Good luck. You're gonna need it.
That's how we ended up with the Batgirl situation in the first place, or how we ended up in the Wile E. Coyote versus Acme situation as well. Quite literally canceling completed projects that a lot of people put a lot of time, effort, and money into creating. And the reason that some people are calling for a Max boycott today is related to all of this. I turned to the Adopt Our Crew X account, as they posted a breakdown of the reasons why they believe people should boycott Max. Adopt a Crew stated that David Zaslav may be positioning Warner Brothers Discovery for a future merger, but that he has done significant damage to the creative community in the process. Sound familiar? Here are some of the poor decisions that have taken place under the current leadership. They canceled 8 shows in 2024, significantly reducing Max's slate of original programming, while simultaneously introducing a price hike that just so happened to coincide with the premiere of House of the Dragon, one of their biggest shows. More on that in a moment. Warner Brothers Discovery reportedly pushed showrunners for shorter seasons, with writers' rooms being forced to develop truncated story arcs with season finales that can serve as series finales if needed. They also laid off nearly 1,000 Warner Brothers employees 1 week after a round of layoffs at CNN, while the company's compensation rose nearly 27% to $49.7 million in 2023.
No, don't like that.
Have you ever heard any more clear examples of a company being more concerned with money than they are telling stories? I mean, this is the type of that makes them look worse than Disney, and that's saying something. Going back to House of the Dragon for a moment, I admittedly haven't watched Season 2 yet, but I did enjoy Season 1. The reaction to Season 2, however, has been mixed, to say the least. Apparently, the showrunner has come out and said that if something felt off about Season 2, it was most likely due to Warner Bros. Discovery cutting back on resources that were supposed to be allocated to the show. Per Westeros.org's Elio Garcia, it was supposed to be a 10-episode season, and a month before filming, after 8 months of writing, HBO told them to cut episodes. And this all happened to coincide with the writer's strike, by the way, which made the writer's job of adjusting to these demands very difficult.
Game over, man. It's game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now?
It's literally like the exact opposite of what happened at the end of the original Game of Thrones. In that instance, it was the creative team that wanted to rush to the finale, and the show suffered for it. WB apparently adopted this philosophy and applied it to all future projects moving forward, simply because it is now convenient for their bottom line. I know that we all tend to give to writers and directors, and a lot of times they do deserve it, but when you have writers and directors trying to operate under the Warner Bros. Discovery banner, you can't help but feel like, after hearing all of this, and understanding their recent track record, that there is without a doubt something fundamentally wrong about Warner Bros. Discovery at the studio level. How can anyone be expected to tell compelling stories when they are quite literally being rushed through the creative process?
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for them.
Warner Bros. Discovery does not create an environment where creatives can thrive. They instead create an environment that actually stifles creativity. And then on top of that, they expect to be able to charge you the same thing they always did, or in Max's case, even more, all so you can consume a piss-poor product. If you need any more proof that Warner Bros. Discovery is doing more harm than good in the entertainment industry, then this is that proof. Mistreating Henry Cavill and Zack Snyder and Christopher Nolan was just the tip of the iceberg. They have now resorted to mistreating lesser-known names in the industry who maybe might not even have the opportunity to recover from this and have a career afterwards. And that cannot and should not ever be tolerated. Warner Bros. Discovery needs to answer for their wrongdoings and their shady practices, instead of allowing them to continue to not take responsibility for their own actions.
So you get nothing! You lose! Good day, sir!
Y'all be cool. Right on.